Rebecca was new to the island of Sodor, but she was learning the ropes very quickly. She was resting at Vickerstown waiting to leave with her next train when a big green engine pulled into the platform next to her. Rebecca's jaw dropped. "You're Flying Scotsman!" she gasped.
"Yes," he replied, "I am. Haven't seen you around before, though."
Rebecca introduced herself to the famous engine. "Gordon's told me quite a lot about you," she continued.
"I imagine he has," chuckled Flying Scotsman.
"Do you miss travelling around the world?" asked Rebecca.
"Indeed," Flying Scotsman replied, "but as they say, there's no place like home. Plus, at least here they don't make me wear cow catchers."
Flying Scotsman laughed and Rebecca giggled, still feeling rather starstruck. Just then, it was time for Flying Scotsman to leave.
"Farewell, Rebecca,"
he chuffed,
"our paths shall one day cross again."
And he puffed out of the station. "He's so mesmerizing," sighed Rebecca. "I wish I had that effect on others." Later that day, Duck was shunting in the yard when Rebecca steamed in.
"Afternoon," he whistled. "Everything all right?"
"Do you know where any spare tenders might be?" asked Rebecca.
"Why?"
inquired Duck.
"Are you looking to pull a trick on Henry? I don't think he'll appreciate it."
No, Rebecca replied rather hastily. "I just need an extra one." Duck was still confused. "I saw Flying Scotsman today," she explained. "I want to be special, like him."
"But you don't need 2 tenders," replied Duck. "He only needs them because the other railways calling water supplies are limited. Plus the water they do have isn't exactly the best. Either way, that's not why he's famous. He was the second to go 100 miles per hour. Of course, City of Truro was the first."
"That was never proven," snapped Rebecca. Duck was very cross. Rebecca soon spotted a tank wagon full of water. It'll have to do," she said. Her driver coupled her up to the tanker and she set off. As she left, Thomas arrived. "You look unhappy," he noticed.
"Rebecca's acting strange," puffed Duck. "She came here looking for a second tender, saying she wanted to be like Flying Scotsman, and then left with a water tanker."
"I was supposed to deliver that tanker to the search and rescue centre," worried Thomas. "It was meant for Bellen Flynn. I have to find her." And he bustled away. Rebecca, meanwhile, was simmering at the Kirk Ronin platform with a stopping train. The tanker was directly behind her tender. Thomas rushed in. "Thomas, what are you doing here?" asked Rebecca. Thomas explained everything. "So you'll have to give me the tanker," he puffed. Soon the tanker was uncoupled and Rebecca left the station feeling very embarrassed. Further down the line, there was trouble. Some trucks from James's goods train had broken loose and derailed, blocking the line. Rebecca squeaked to a halt, pleading that her brakes didn't fail. Thankfully, they worked, but Rebecca was now stuck on the line. She whistled loudly for help. Soon, Harvey arrived with the breakdown train.
"Oh dear," muttered Harvey. "Those trucks, they never learn, do they?"
Harvey soon went to work and the trucks were back on the rails and out of Rebecca's way. "Thank you, Harvey," she whistled. "You're incredible. You're Sodor's only crane engine. That's got to be an honour." Harvey smiled.
"I guess it is. Thanks, Rebecca."
Rebecca continued down the line, but when she finished her journey, she felt very envious. There's all these special engines on Sodor, she thought. And then there's me. Oh, I do wish I had something that made me stand out. That evening, she arrived at the steamworks. Victor greeted her warmly.
What can I do for you?
He asked. I want to be a crane engine, Rebecca insisted. Victor gave her a worried look.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that, he wheezed.
But I thought you could fix everything, she replied, feeling very disappointed.
I can fix anything, said Victor, but you don't need fixing. Everything seems to be in order with you. I'm sorry.
Rebecca sighed and puffed away, still feeling glum. I guess I'm just a normal, boring engine, she thought sadly. The next morning, she was at Knapford when Pip and Emma pulled in. Rebecca was amazed. You're high-speed trains, she peeped. We sure are, Emma smiled. It must be amazing to fly down the line, feeling the wind on your wheels, said Rebecca. Emma agreed. It's very exhilarating, she replied. Suddenly, the guard's whistle blew and Pip and Emma sped away, leaving Rebecca in awe. As she steamed along the line, she had a thought. If I can't be like Harvey or Flying Scotsman, she said to herself, maybe I can be like Pip and Emma. Then I'd be a special engine for sure. Rebecca went faster than she had ever gone before. Slow down, called the driver, but Rebecca wasn't listening. Make way for Sodor's new high-speed train, she whistled proudly. Then there was trouble. Rebecca came to a grinding halt. She had used up all her coal and water. Rebecca's driver went to go get help. It took a long time, but eventually, Edward arrived to haul her back to the yard. He noticed that she was upset. What's got you down? Asked Edward. There's nothing special about me, Rebecca said. Flying Scotsman has 2 tenders and is world famous. Harvey has a crane arm. Pip and Emma can go faster than anyone on the island. You don't need any of those qualities to be special, said Edward comfortingly. Everyone is special in their own way. So what makes me special? Inquired Rebecca, still not convinced. You make others happy, Edward explained. Remember the other day? Percy was missing his friend Gator, so you talked with him and reminded him that he would come back soon and that he still has many friends on Sodor who care for him. He told me that made his day. It did? Asked Rebecca. Oh yes, replied Edward. You're always there for others when they need a buffer to lean on. In that regard, we're pretty similar. I hate to boast, but it's an admirable quality to have. Rebecca smiled. You're right, she said. She felt much better now. With that, the 2 engines set off happily.